Hi there traders, and welcome to another Forex Zone in here, where we're going to take a look at the major global foreign exchange rates in here, looking at the euro versus the dollar, pound versus the dollar, that cable spot FX rate. We're going to be taking a look at the Australian, New Zealand and Canadian dollars, the dollar block, those commodity currencies, also against the US dollar. And then finally, we'll take a look at the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. But let's kick off in here with the euro versus the dollar. We've had this push higher in here from early February, which reversed this downtrend line. And we got that little spike early this week up to 121.70, just above this resistance here at 121.56. But fading from below this important 121.89 swing high. And that looked like it was going to be enough to then restart the whole bearish theme in here that we've seen in here really from the beginning of this year, this whole succession of lower lows and lower highs. However, the last 24 to 36 hours, we've seen a turnaround in here with the market rebounding going into the end of the week. We're recording here on Friday the 19th of February and a punching higher already in here this morning in the European morning and aiming back at this 121.70 level, maybe 121.89. I'm going to look for these to try and cap the market again going into the end of the week and looking for a roll back down lower into next week from below these levels in here, these resistance levels. However, we could see if we get a break above here, then it would certainly turn the tone more positive on the short term, and then even aiming at this important resistance up here in the 122, 23, 28 area. And if we break above here, then we're likely to see a far more aggressive push higher on an intermediate term basis. For the pound, we're going to take a look at the pound in here now. The pound stays very, 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 very strong in here. I mean, nothing really to add to our last video in here on the Forex Zone. The pound extremely strong. We've broken out above this kind of wedge pattern in here, back here in the early to mid part of February, and now kind of using that kind of breakout, the bottom of that wedge as now support. And then in the last 24 hours, in fact just this morning, cable in here, pound dollar cable, has managed to push above this psychological 140 level, just getting above 140, up to 140.08 has been the high so far today on Friday the 19th as we record. So 140 has been broken, psychological option barrier. That does open up further upside risk in the bigger picture. And maybe if I zoom out in here, we can take a look. If I can go to all the way out to a weekly chart, and on the weekly chart you can see over here though, this is the post-Brexit high. Here's Brexit in here, all the way back in here, June 16, okay, when the market plunged really from like 150 down very quickly down to below 130, and since then the high point has been 143.77. Real risk that we could push up to there, not anytime very soon, but certainly maybe going into March. So upside risk for the pound still in here, very much going into late February and beyond. If we take a look now at those commodity currencies, we're going to start off with the Antipodeans, the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar, and you can see in here dollar weakness across the board. We just looked at it there with euro. The pound's been strong anyway, but dollar weak there, and then again in here, look, Aussie punching higher, not only having taken out this 77.82 important swing high back here earlier this week when we got to 78.05, but now punching through the cycle high up here at 78.20. We've made a new cycle high, and Aussie looking like it can go notably higher in here. And then that was having broken down through this kind of trend line in here. So this trend line that was previously broken, this trend that comes from November, we've kind of been in consolidation since we broke that trend, and now the market re-energizing the bigger picture intermediate term bull trend. Not quite so positive for the New Zealand dollar in here versus the US dollar. However, the market, again, US dollar weakness coming through, the market punching higher in here. We've taken out this 72.51.54 area up to 72.68 earlier this week. And now the market again just nudging above that 72 or matching that 72.68 level, 72.68 and change the market, just nudging up to there today. And then real risk now for the 72.81 and more importantly the 73.15 cycle high to again restart this whole bull trend that we had from November. Having broken the trend line here, we went into consolidation. The market again broke this little uptrend line here earlier this week, but it's rejected that, and all the bullish pressures coming back through. And whilst we're on dollar weakness, let's take a look at the Canadian dollar as well. USDCAD. This trend line here, this trend line. Now we've reversed this internal trend line, but we're still below this bigger trend. We've been flirting with this bigger trend line in here in January, in here, late January, early February, and then again we went up close at the end of last week, and then up close this week to this trend. And this trend line comes all the way, you can see from March 2020. So again, if I zoom out, I'm going to go to the daily chart. You can see in here the market goes all the way back in here. This is the highs that we saw. This is when the dollar was strengthening, when the pandemic was breaking last year in March. So we had a lot of dollar strength across the board. This trend line comes all the way from here, and you can see through this point here from October 2020. And as we showed there on the when we're on the wider chart in here, the intraday chart, you can see the market respecting that trend line. So it's been an important trend line, and then that keeps the trend lower in here. The market again backing off from that this week, from that trend line, lower again in here this morning, and real risk as we go into next week to challenge this low here from early this week at 126.06, and maybe this cycle low from back in January at 125.87. So that's the commodity currencies in here: Australian, New Zealand and Canadian dollar. I'm going to finish up with the US dollar versus the Japanese yen in here. So dollar yen has been particularly strong in here from the beginning of this year. We had another strong push higher at the beginning of this week up to 106.22. We've not only reversed this downtrend line, we've taken out multiple resistances in here back from Q4 of last year, Q4 of 2020. So that's all kept us very much in a bullish tone. However, again, with this broad dollar weakness, we've seen actually a setback in here for the dollar. It is holding above this support of 105.15. It is holding above this trend line that comes up from the beginning of this year. So whilst above those supports in here, we're looking for this to turn back higher in here. But for now, the risk is for probably a deeper correction down towards 105.15 and maybe deeper towards the trend line. But we do look for a turn and for dollar yen strength to come back as we go through into next week. So don't forget, guys, please do follow us on our YouTube channel and hit that like button. I'll be back with you very shortly for another Forex Zone. So traders, don't forget to catch us again on the Forex Zone, and also check out all the great content on fxexplain.co.uk.